Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the 2021 Dallas ISD Day in collaboration with the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. My name is Stephanie Broughton, and I'm one of the MWBE coordinators with Dallas Independent School District, and I'll be today's moderator. We'd like to thank all of you for joining us today for this amazing event. During today's event, you're going to learn a lot about doing business with a variety of different independent school districts throughout the state of Texas, in addition to Dallas County and Tarrant County. So we have so much to get through today, so we're going to jump right into it. And we're going to talk a little bit about this event and what to expect. So what do you expect from such an amazing event like Independent School District Day, where you have so many different independent school districts on one platform? So you can get a bunch of different information from a variety of different independent school districts. And I know that you guys have some favorites out there, but you just never know. You may have a new favorite after today. So with Independent School District Day, all the participants will be in listen-only mode. So you will have access to the Q&A session and the chat, but you will be in listen-only mode. So you will not be able to unmute your mic or share your video. Although we miss seeing your faces and your smiles, you will not have the opportunity to share your camera with us today. You will have access to the Q&A session. And I know you guys know how to use the chat, because I'm looking at all of these chats coming through, and I love to see that. In fact, since I know that you guys know how to use the chat, why don't you go ahead and tell us what city you're in? Let us know what city you're representing today, so we can see all of the different people throughout the state of Texas representing. So chime in and let us know where you currently are located here in the state of Texas. Outstanding. And just so you guys know, depending on what device you're using for today's event, you can save the chat. You can save the chat with there's 3 little buttons on the chat area. And when you click that, you can save that to your desktop or to your laptop. So if you're sharing contact information, No need to worry about trying to write that information down unless you're using a mobile device or a device that doesn't support saving your chat. You will have that readily available for you. And also, this event is being streamed live on Facebook, and you will receive a copy of the presentations for today. And yes, it is being recorded. So the recording, however, will be located on the Dallas ISD MWBE's Facebook page or our YouTube channel. So you can just search for Dallas ISD MWBE, and you'll be able to find that information readily available. Now, I am going to share with you some of the other things that we have available today. So we kind of want you to, because this is going to be a long event, but it's going to be so much information. It's not going to seem like it's as long as it is. So just be prepared. And again, if you have questions, you want to make sure you drop those questions in the Q&A session. You want to utilize that chat box for exactly what you guys are doing now, letting us know where you're from. If you can't hear us, if things are too low or you can't see the slides, that's when you want to utilize the chat box. You only want to utilize the Q&A session for questions. If you have a question throughout this event, don't hesitate to go ahead and drop those questions in the Q&A session, and we will make sure that we answer those questions for you. Now, let me go ahead and show you this particular slide. So when you see this particular slide, this is a slide for our poll. So we'll have a couple of these polls throughout today's event, and I'm going to go ahead and share one with you guys today so we can test this out, okay? So we want to know if this is your first time attending ISD Day. Is this your first time attending ISD Day? Let us know. Oh my goodness, look at those responses coming in. I love it. You guys are energized and ready for us this afternoon, and we're ready for you. We're so excited to have you guys join us today. And thank you so much for participating in this poll. I love it. It looks like we have a lot of new participants joining us today. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And we are sure that you are going to have an amazing time today, full of information. I mean, it's going to be information overload, but don't worry. We are here for you to assist you with anything that you need. So let's see, we still got those poll questions, responses coming through. Thank you guys so much for responding to that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the poll because, again, we have so much information to cover today. We want to get through it. And so it looks like 84% of you are new attendees. That's amazing. And 16% of you, this is, you've attended Independent School District Day in the past. So that's great. Thank you so much for coming back. But for the 84% of you who are new, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, we are so excited to have you be a part of Independent School District Day. And the other slide I want to share with you guys, when you see this particular slide, this is when we are going to ask and answer questions. So the way that this is going to be set up, we're going to have the Independent School District Day representatives present their information to you, and they're going to be segmented in groups. So the first group will be your Dallas ISD, Houston ISD, Irvin ISD, Garland ISD, and Fort Bend ISD. So after those particular ISDs present, we will then have a Q&A session. When you see this slide pop up, that means we're about to start that session of answering your questions. Again, you can drop those questions in the Q&A session at any time during this entire event so that we can get those questions answered. Now, since we have so many independent school districts representing today, we want to make sure that we get your questions directed to the correct person. So if you have a question, for example, for Dallas ISD, put a D in front of your question and then ask your question, then type in your question. So therefore, we know that your particular question will be directed to Dallas Independent School District. For Houston ISD, put an H, so on and so forth. So that'll be your first set. And then your second set will be Fort Worth ISD, Arlington, Austin, Lancaster, and San Antonio. And then after that, we'll have our counties. We'll have our Dallas County as well as our Tarrant County. So don't forget to make sure you put that initial in front of your question. For Austin and Arlington ISD, for Austin ISD, just put AU, and then for Arlington ISD, just put A. And I'll try to remind you guys of that before we get started with those questions. So without further ado, I think that's it for our general information, and we want to go ahead and get started with our amazing event. We have a lot of information to cover. We have some amazing presenters, as well as some amazing independent school districts. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Enjoy the event. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to a member of the executive leadership for Dallas Independent School District's Minority Women Business Enterprise Department, Leslie Williams. Mr. Williams, with 40 years commitment to Dallas ISD, he has served as a teacher, security specialist, assistant director, executive district of superintendent's learning community, and assistant superintendent of the district's intensive support network, and most recently, deputy chief of the district's racial equity office. And now we have the pleasure of him joining us in the MWBE department as deputy chief of special projects. Leslie.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank our over 1,300 registered participants for your commitment to our ISD Day virtual event. I am confident, very confident, that you will benefit from the wealth of information that will be shared today. First, I'd like to pay special recognition to a few of our district special guests. Our first, Dr. Joyce Foreman, our Dallas ISD trustee, Ms. Susanna Cordova, Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Jack Kalanick, Chief Technology Officer, Mr. Brent Alfred, Deputy Chief of Construction, and our MWBE Advisory Committee members and strategic and community partners. So again, thank all of y'all for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. You will be glad you did. For you, you have basically our Dallas ISD Board of Trustees and our superintendent. And we're very proud of basically the successes that Dallas ISD has made. We're one of the nation's fastest improving school districts. And we have 230 schools with approximately 157,000 students. And the main thing is that we're so proud and happy of the support that we received, the MWBE department, from our school board trustees and superintendent. And now I will turn things back over to, well, before that, we have a couple of things, accomplishments that we would like to share with you. Before you have a list of minority and women business enterprise. It was an annual report that we submitted to our trustees and our superintendent this past week. And I will highlight just a few of the accomplishments. We've had a number of pre-bid meetings, and we had 80 participants where we have met with construction companies to prepare them to submit bids for our Dallas ISD projects. In addition to that, we've had over 2,800 participants in our virtual events. And last thing I would like to highlight is that we conducted Bond Academy, this past spring, being that we were told that a lot of the companies really needed help with bonding. And so far we've had $16.8 million worth of bonding that has been submitted and awarded to our participants. So and we're really excited about that. Ms. Broughton.
Thank you so much, Mr. Williams, for sharing that information about Dallas ISD MWBE department. Thank you again so much for that. And we're going to continue on with the rest of our program. Like I said, we have so much information to cover. You guys need to buckle up and get ready. So we're going to continue on with the rest of our program. Now I'd like to introduce you to Margot J. Posey. Margot is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. Ms. Posey's core responsibilities include organization leadership, strategic execution, and service to the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. The mission of the council is to encourage and facilitate procurement and business opportunities between buying entity members and certified minority business enterprises. Margot?
Thanks, Stephanie. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so happy to be here. We are excited about our partnership with Dallas ISD. Who would have imagined over a decade ago that we would have 718 folks at the Dallas ISD Day with the council? You know, I'm sure most of us are really tired of Zoom and not being able to actually meet and touch in person. Our last Dallas ISD Day, we had about 400 attendees. But again, today, because of technology, we've got all of you here, and not only folks in our region, we've got people from Houston and elsewhere. So Stephanie, great job to the DISD team, Annie, to Leslie. You all do a great job. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see those numbers as quickly, and I'm sure those will be available to you, but DISD is truly committed to MBE and WBE inclusion. They do a wonderful job, and this is tough work, as you all know. But I want to just say, again, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And Stephanie, I'm going to give it back to you because we do have a full day. Now, she just put up the E Awards. That is the council's gala that we do annually. And the E is for excellence. And it is a recognition of excellence by corporations, public sector agencies, minority-owned businesses that are striving for the absolute best. And I say striving because in this realm, you're never there. We have to continuously strive. We have to continuously improve, continuously get better. But I would tell you that the folks that are being recognized on November 19th, they meet all that criteria, all those qualifications. We hope you'll join us. There's more information. We'll have it in the chat. And again, thank you, Stephanie, and thank you to the entire Dallas ISD team.
Thank you so much, Margot, for that. It's so amazing to hear from our leadership from both Dallas ISD MWBE department and the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. And we're going to continue on with the program. Like everyone said, we have a jam-packed session for you guys today. So just stay tuned with us. And so now what we're going to do is present our video series. We have a video series that we'll be sharing for the first time during Independent School District Day to showcase some of our vendors who are registered vendors with at least one of our independent school districts, as well as certified. They're MWBE certified. So buckle up, guys. We're continuing on with the rest of the program.
Well, it was important for us to become an ISD vendor because we wanted to be able to give back in the community. We see that Dallas ISD, large ISD with a lot of students, a large population here in the Metroplex. Atactura Solutions provide IoT solutions, solutions that help your business become more efficient. What was important to us for our business to be certified, which was 11 years ago, It was important to us because we wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to be able to bring our skills to the market. Dallas ISD's MWBE department has helped our business in allowing us to be able to get our skills, make sure that our skills are being seen. And so they've been an advocate for us in that regards. Well, if you're a vendor and you're looking to do business with Dallas ISD or any of the ISDs that are here today, I'd recommend 3 points to help guide you through and help you navigate. The first point is get certified. There are a number of organizations out there, but Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Development Council is a great organization, great expertise, second to none. To be patient, have perseverance. You want to be patient to select the right opportunity to bid on. And then once you've selected the right opportunity, then you want to pay attention. Pay attention to your bid response. Pay attention to the details.
Representing Dallas Independent School District's Procurement Services is Rose Kohut. Rose is currently the Contracts Director in the Construction Services Division. Rose?
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today at the Dallas ISD Day. Thank you, Stephanie, for helping us get together our information on behalf of the Dallas Independent School District Procurement Services Division. As Stephanie mentioned, I am Rose Kohut. I am Director of Procurement Services, and I help facilitate all of the Bond Construction Services Division acquisitions for the district. My staff that I have working with me, and a little bit about each one of them here that you see. I have Mr. Tim Holt, who is our FF&E, Furniture, Fixtures, and Equipment Project Manager. Just to give you a little bit of insight, he oversaw spends that equal to a little over $15,340,000 just in the last fiscal year. I also have Ms. Tara Lott as our contracts coordinator. Ms. Tara is the guru of bond construction services and for procurement here in our office, who navigates from cradle to grave all of the contracts for professional service providers and the general contractors and construction manager at risk contractors that we facilitate and, solicit the bids and competitive seal proposals for bond construction. Those very particular documents include the district's master agreements and the AIA general contractor, general construction, and construction manager at risk contract documents. Last but not least, we have our buying assistant, Deborah Burkhalter Ellis, who definitely supports the entire procurement team here on the 8th floor in the administration building. Primary responsibilities for Deborah certainly include my main point of contact for bid advertisements, all of the FF&E proof of deliveries, and facilitating those receivers that are necessary for when the furniture, fixtures, and equipment get delivered and physically received at all of the projects that Tim Holt actually oversees the procurements for. Deborah is there to help account for all of the receivers there, and then we eventually get to pay our vendors accordingly. And along with soliciting, managing the solicitation files and the bid collection and all the bid opening on bid opening days, along with the rest of the staff, Deborah is there to do that as well. And of course, I like to call myself a working director, a working manager, an overall spend that we help facilitate through the Bond Construction Services Office for our 2020-2021 fiscal year was right over $489,975,000 worth of solicitations. So where do you find our opportunities for the vendor community? Here on the slide, our MWBE division did a great job of including all of our web pages for your information. On the bond vendor opportunities webpage, we always have a weekly bid calendar that's updated and available for review by the vendor community and the public that's there. In addition to that, we have a letter to our vendor community for quite some time. As you can imagine, it has included information on the COVID-19 pandemic and how the control factors are in place for on-site vendor visits on-site at campuses and the restrictions that are included there. And last but certainly not least, our current bond vendor opportunities are there in addition to seeing them on the bid calendar as well. The other places that I actually wanted to mention regarding on where to find our opportunities, in addition to at the bottom of the slide where the DFW Minority Supplier Development Council and the Dallas Morning News, of course, via our bid advertisements, but we also, in all of our general construction solicitations, we actually send the project manuals to one of our contracted reprographic centers or print rooms, as they're often referred to. Vendors can also find our general construction specs and drawings and the project manuals when they're released to the public at the DFW Minority Supplier Development Council, of course, is on that list. In addition to them, the Regional Hispanic Contractors Association, the Regional Black Contractors Association, the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Dallas Black Chamber of Commerce, and Greater Dallas Asian American Chamber of Commerce gets all of those notifications, among others. Our upcoming construction bond opportunities. In addition to the two that are here, the furniture, fixtures, and equipment related turnkey services request for proposal, we actually just extended this solicitation to close next week on November the 18th. And then on behalf of the Dallas ISD, our current construction manager at risk, CMAR firm, is Turner Source Joint Venture. They're also doing a solicitation for trade partners on behalf of the Dallas ISD for the Career Institute North at Walnut Hill for a high density IP gas main extension based on Atmos design drawings and scope of work. And that information is found also on our bid calendar. The bid calendar here is what I was referring to that is found on the Dallas ISD Bond Construction Services webpage. And the ones that I wanted to highlight that are currently available and brand new for review are starting with the CS 21-018 request for qualifications for construction materials testing services. The second one is another RFQ for third-party green and energy work that will be coming out and beginning to advertise on Sunday, November the 21st. And then the future ones that we have are the last two that I went ahead and gave because I thought they would be very interested to many out there. There are a couple of larger ones. The request for proposal for the district's risk management services. That's all of these actually are multi-year term agreements. Last but not least, the request for proposal for the reprographic services will be coming out. Looks like we're going to try and do our best and have our first bid ad come out around December the 5th on that one.
Thank you so much, Rose, for that information, sharing that information about our construction information and our upcoming bond program and our projects available under our 2020 bond. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Introducing Darla Powell. Darla is currently the Director of Procurement Operations for Dallas Independent School District's Procurement Services Department. Darla.
Good afternoon, everyone. As she stated, I am the Director of Operations for Procurement Services here at Dallas ISD, and I'd like to welcome each of you. This first slide talks about our iSupplier vendor registration portal. We encourage each of you to follow the link on the screen, or you can find us at Dallas Independent School District's Procurement Services website and register. The benefit of registering for this iSupplier system is it allows the vendors to be notified of any upcoming business opportunities, as well as those for bond and construction. It ensures that we want you to ensure that your information is accurate. So in this portal, it gives you not only access to opportunities with the district, but it allows you to own your systems, what email addresses and phone numbers, and all of the documentation that the district would request of you. The vendor now has the ability to control when that information is updated and changed. We also allow you to submit your bids electronically through this system. So once you're notified, you'll be able to log in and see business opportunities, which are the same ones we have listed on our website, and be able to submit those electronically so you're not having to mail those in. And the question that many of you may ask is, how can we just achieve success in doing business with Dallas ISD? So the main way to do that is to respond to a CSP or RFP or any other solicitation that we publish, participate in interlocal and cooperative agreements. Again, most importantly, registering as a vendor in our iSupplier system, attending trainings such as this one, Dallas ISD trainings, vendor fairs, and other opportunities to engage with the staff at Dallas ISD. We want you to also attend those pre-bid and pre-proposal meetings, because it is there that you have opportunities to ask questions for clarifications on those solicitations. And sometimes we publish them and there's information that we may need to change based upon industry standards. And so it gives you an opportunity to ensure that what we do in terms of finalizing contracts is what's best for the district and for the supplier. So by attending those meetings, you have a voice and you can get clarification. And then we also want you to ask questions, and you need to do that and meet the deadlines. We don't want to have questions come in after the deadline and then you can't participate in the solicitation because we didn't understand what you were asking, or you didn't understand what we were asking. And so then we have these contracts that can't be awarded because there was no clarification. So please participate in the pre-bid proposals and ask questions so we can all be on the same page. Also, understand the procurement and contract process. Most of this information is on our district website. The buyers and myself are available for questions. And even the MWBE department does a great job at engaging with the community and coordinating that conversation between the procurement office and the supplier. So ask the questions. We've got many platforms that you can use, whether it's email or our Let's Talk system, or just pick up the phone and call us. Then how their business and services meet our needs. Oftentimes we get calls from vendors wanting to provide us with product that we may or may not be aware of, or it may or may not be something we need. But by engaging with us, we may be able to put the information in the hands of prospective departments to be able to at least look at the product and service that you offer. And then obtaining MWBE, our Minority Woman Business Enterprise certifications. These certifications are done through a couple of different organizations, but they do help us achieve the number requirements, the percentage requirements that the district encourages us to participate with these organizations. So, and then lastly, being persistent and engaged and informed. This is a huge district and there are a lot of vendors that want to do business with us. So sometimes you may not get that one contract, but continue to engage, continue to respond, and look for ways to get engaged with the district. This is a list of our upcoming business opportunities. This list is updated every Sunday with new solicitations that were published. This list is not all inclusive of what was published this past week. So we encourage you to visit the Dallas ISD Procurement Services website and click on the button for supplier opportunities, how to do business with the district as well. And that is it for me. I won't go through the list because there are more to add, but we've got many categories, many of the building and construction services, maintenance and operations contracts are going out. And Stephanie, that's it. I'll turn it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darla, Rose, for providing us with some very important procurement information. So for those of you who are interested in doing business with Dallas ISD, the procurement information is crucial to understanding how to effectively do business with not only Dallas Independent School District, but all of the school districts that we currently have on our platform for today. So like I said, we got so much to go through. We're going to continue on with the rest of our program. Representing Houston ISD is Yesenia Taylor. Yesenia is the General Manager of Business Solutions for the Houston Independent School District. She is responsible for the Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Program, which advocates fair and equitable opportunities for the participation of MWBE firms in the areas of procurement, construction, and professional services. The team's mission is to help build capacity and better prepare MWBE companies that may be interested in doing business with Houston ISD. Through outreach, they are committed to creating and fostering long-term relationships that are essential to the success of the program. In addition to the district Supplier Diversity Program, Yesenia also oversees the Risk Management Department. Yesenia?
Good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Yesenia Taylor, and I'll be going over how to do business with HISD. First off, we're excited to be participating in this event today, and we want to say thank you to Dallas ISD for including us. Houston ISD is the largest school district in Texas. We have over 280 schools that service our students, and then we support over 196,000 students and 27,000 staff members. So my department, Supplier Diversity, advocates, as mentioned, for fair and equitable opportunities for the participation of MWBE firms. We want to increase and utilize MWBE firms in as many HISD projects as possible. So we work very closely with purchasing services. From the slide, you can see that all expenditures over $50,000 in aggregate must be competitively bid. The district has over 150 spend categories, from construction to technology to office supplies to the purchase of products, foods, and services. So more than likely, there is your product or service from your business falls within one of these categories. And then everything is solicited through either a request for proposal, a request for qualifications, construction manager at risk, or through competitive sealed proposals. Next slide, please. So on the screen, you'll see a list of current bid opportunities. You can see the district is currently soliciting curriculum items, professional development, fresh produce, amongst other items. So when you're looking at this information, we're going to go into how to register, how to find this location, but we want to point out that you can find all the details regarding the scope of work, the bid requirements, insurance requirements in this solicitation online, as well as through IonWave, which we will be talking about shortly. This is also where you'll locate the pre-proposal information, and we always recommend that you attend the pre-proposals. That's when you're going to get to meet the purchasing person in charge of the project, as well as the end users, and ask your questions at that time. So we always recommend that you attend. Currently, the district is hosting these virtual due to the pandemic. So they can, again, that information is online. The solicitations are also advertised in different areas, such as the Houston Chronicle. Can you go to the next slide, please? So this is a copy of IonWave. So the district is transitioning to an online bidding system, which is this IonWave. So we recommend that you register to get information on current solicitations. So by registering through IonWave, you are able to select the commodity codes that relate to the product or service that you provide. So once you register, you receive courtesy emails when a solicitation becomes available based on the commodity codes that you selected. So we want everybody to register so that you can get that information when the district is seeking something that relates or matches back to the codes that you selected. So that's really important. Next slide, please. And lastly, I want to encourage everyone to register and join our supplier diversity mailing list. By joining the list, you will also get an email every Monday that speaks to the current bid solicitations for the entire district. So they're not specific to your product and service, but again, a list of everything that we're soliciting. You'll also receive information regarding networking events or free workshops that Supplier Diversity hosts in efforts to help grow and build our MWBE companies. As you know, the district has a minority and women-owned business program in place. So we accept 3 different certifications, and all that information can be found on the website included on this slide here. Last slide. Okay, so this concludes my presentation. Again, it was a pleasure to be here today and share all of this information. On the screen, you have our contact information. Again, my name is Yesenia Taylor. We report directly to the Officer of Business Logistics and Purchasing Services, Ms. Alexis Licata. On my team, we also have 2 specialists, Jermaine Baines and Tan Nguyen. And then we also have 2 business analysts that help with our compliance piece online and monitor spend for our MWBE firms. So that's Adriana Salinas and Rosa Maria Martinez. So again, thank you. Please don't hesitate in reaching out if you have any questions. We will also be sharing some links for y'all to follow up on. But again, we appreciate it and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Yesenia, for providing us with information on how to do business with Houston Independent School District. Thank you so much again for that information. And I'm sure all of those of you who are attending, who are interested in doing business with Houston ISD, you guys have gotten a wealth of information, some important contact information, because I know there's a lot of you out there who are interested in HISD. Thank you again, Yesenia. Representing Irving Independent School District is Jerome Pilgrim. Jerome is a registered Texas school business administrator with over 32 years of procurement experience. He is currently the Director of Purchasing with Irving ISD. Jerome?
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting us to this program. Urban ISD currently has 33,500 students. We're pretty small. We have 4,200 employees and 37 campuses. And just like Yesenia said before for Urban ISD, We follow a lot of the same procedures that she mentioned. So I'm not going to bore you with some of the same things that were already mentioned. But as you can see from the slide here, we have 6 buyers. Ms. Martella will be retiring in December, so we'll be looking for an assistant director of purchasing there. You can see the commodities that each buyer is responsible for procuring. However, any buyer may be called to, purchase, let's just say, cross-sectional products and services. Next slide, please. All right, these are our current opportunities that we have posted on our website. Our website is irvingisd.net. Go to departments and then click on purchasing. We have a current opportunities list. That's where you can find this list at any time. This list is upgraded at least once a week with new opportunities. Right now, as you see, we have exterior doors, online books, instructional supplies, Read Across America. We just issued one for design of furniture at 4 elementary schools. And we're also looking for handheld devices, radios, and other communication devices for not only our security and safety division, but also our bus transportation division and campuses. We're also issuing it's not listed here, but one for fire suppression equipment and services. And lastly, energy management controls and systems upgrade. Next slide, please. All right, how to do business with Urban ISD. First of all, as mentioned previously, registering as a vendor with Urban ISD is the first step. We do utilize the IronWave online procurement module. So we issue most of our RFPs and requests for quotes online through the IronWave portal. Again, one critical piece of information when you're registering is to ensure that you include the correct commodity and category codes that will allow you to be notified, alerted, and have access to the solicitations that we've posted. We also have a slew of annual bids that are always in place that we renew on an annual basis. And we publish those bids on IronWave as well. Our website, again, is urbanisd.net purchasing. We do post every bid on our website as well as in IronWave. We ask that you respond to the bids and current opportunities that we have that fit your products and services. Because if you don't respond, then it will be difficult for you to be awarded and then do business with the district. Again, several of the directors and purchasing folks have mentioned attending meetings such as pre-bid meetings, pre-bid conferences, pre-proposal conferences, site visits for construction projects. We ask that you submit questions in a timely fashion when we have solicitations posted. Those questions can help you as far as finding out background information on bids, getting clarification on specifications, scope of services, and providing a compliant bid and a competitive bid. All right, lastly, if you do get awarded, we want to ask you to perform in accordance with the specifications and scope of services. We do rate our vendors, and that will determine maybe your evaluation score for the next bid. Next slide, please. All right, this is just an example of where our money is going. For example, general administration, that there may be office supplies may be involved in that. There's a lot of commodities. These are just general categories. But within these categories are multiple bids that we will issue. Next slide. All right, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jerome, for that information on Irving ISD. So those of you who are interested in doing business with Irving ISD, or for those of you who didn't even think there was an opportunity to do business with Irving ISD, you have that information now. Thank you again, Jerome.
Yes.
Representing Garland Independent School District is Mark Booker. Mark has 29 years of school district experience, 9 years with Wichita Falls ISD, and 20 years with Garland ISD, where he is the Executive Director of Purchasing. Mark?
Good afternoon to all who are in attendance. On behalf of our Superintendent, Dr. Ricardo Lopez, and our Chief Financial Officer, Dr. Brent Ringo, I'm happy to have the opportunity to share with you how to do business with the Garland Independent School District. We're excited every year that we have an opportunity to participate in this event. The next slide, please. One of the most important things, and when we meet with vendors, and I will be able to meet with vendors during this environment, though it would be by virtual meetings, but there's a couple of points that I always want to make when we talk about how to do business with the Garland Independent School District. Just as Dallas ISD uses the Oracle e-business suite, Garland ISD does use the same program for our vendor registration. It's very important to register in our system for several reasons. First of all, when you register, you'll be required to identify all of the commodity codes in which you provide goods and services. That is key because when the buyers go to do their solicitations, the system will automatically invite all of the vendors who've been registered using those category codes. So we encourage you to spend the time when you do register to go through and make sure you select the codes for all of the goods and services that you provide. You can also go and update those commodity codes as changes are made with your marketing programs and other materials and services that you may offer. We want to make sure that you keep that system updated with contact information, because when we are within 7 days of soliciting a new contract, we'll send out an email just to let you know that there is an upcoming solicitation coming. Many times I hear from vendors who tell me they did not receive that communication, and we find out that the contact information within the system was not updated. One of the values of the Oracle e-business suite through iSupplier, it allows the supplier a very powerful access to all of our systems and processes, which means that you can update your information as it relates to banking information, if it's related to contacts, address changes, also existing POs and pending invoices and payments. So it's a very powerful tool that we would encourage you to use and keep it updated. The other thing is, once the bid packages are released, please review those packages carefully, especially the section which relates to the minimum requirements. Those are the requirements in which you must meet in order to be considered for evaluation. So we want to make sure that when you open up your package, if there are minimum requirements, that you do in fact respond to those requirements, that you could be considered for evaluation. Review the entire package, of course, and especially pay note to the dates and times in which questions may be submitted. There are times during the solicitation process when we'll entertain questions that you might have. There are instructions on how to provide those in writing, and then we will respond by written addendum to make sure that everyone receives all of the appropriate responses. But please ensure, once again, because those are date sensitive, there are certain points in each competitive solicitation process in which you no longer will be allowed to ask questions. So when you get the package, put those dates in your calendar and make sure you ask those questions prior to those deadlines that are submitted. I mentioned at the very beginning that you can schedule a meeting to meet with me or other people in our office. We just ask that you would coordinate that through Eva Gracia. We'll give you her contact information in the future slides, but we are open and available to meet virtually. And we encourage you to do that so that we can talk about how your goods and services could be used in Garland Independent School District. All of our current bid opportunities are listed on our website. And as of today, we have a RFP out for full service custodial and related services. That bid is due on 11/30, November the 30th, as well as printing services, track equipment, and integrated student enrollment application. Those are the 4 that are due on November the 30th. And we have one that's, as you can see, is available and open until December the 2nd, which is an integrated student enrollment package. We do want to just remind you and encourage you to make sure, for those of you who are responding electronically, to make sure you respond prior to the due dates. It's acceptable to return the RFP or the response electronically, and we certainly encourage electronic responses through our Oracle sourcing system, but you may submit a package anytime after it's released, but you may not submit after it's released. And I do want to make a note, and our district will be sending out written email communications to every member who's registered, that from November the 19th at 2:30 through November the 28th at 5 p.m. That's during the Thanksgiving breaks. Our systems will be down because we are performing an Oracle upgrade. So we want to make sure that you submit your RFPs before that, and you will once again get a written confirmation about our down dates. But for those who are attending, I'll tell you now that November the 19th from 2:30 until Sunday evening, the 28th of November to 5 o'clock, the system will not be available. So please make sure that those who are responding to RFPs are aware of that, and we will send out written correspondence. Do want to provide a list of personnel that you can contact and what they do, because it takes a great team to make things work. And we are so proud to have a great staff at the Garland Independent School District. Angelina Zaluda is responsible for adding or changing vendor information. When using the iSupplier module, she would be the person who would review and make all of the decisions about acceptance or ask for additional information. If you have questions about registration, she also is very helpful. Janice Fuller is one of our buyers who handles maintenance and transportation, products and services, technology, and warehouse supplies. And feel free to reach out to her if you have questions in those areas. Diane Fields is our buyer for charter transportation, fundraisers, food service, products, print shop equipment, supplies, catering, and groceries. Maria Kobar is responsible for our instructional material and services. Misty Roberts, a buyer for athletics, furniture, support services. Nancy Nunez is responsible for our construction and other RFPs, and Don Fidel, our assistant director. A great team of people. I mentioned Eva Gracia, my assistant, that if you need to make an appointment, you may call her or dial the number 972-487-3009, which is on the screen. Ask for Ms. Gracia, and she will be able to schedule an appointment with me to sit down and talk about opportunities of how we can do business together. Once again, I'm just excited to have this opportunity. I'm excited for each one of you who took the time out, and we look forward to meeting with you. And more importantly, we look forward to you responding to an RFP. And let me close by encouraging everyone to submit an RFP. And when submitting, I would also encourage you, Garland ISD is a member of the Educational Purchasing Cooperative of North Texas. We're also a member of the Central Texas Purchasing Alliance. And we have in our RFP responses a questionnaire that asks, are you willing to, if awarded a contract, honor this contract with other districts? We encourage you to do that. The benefit for you is once you have been awarded one of those contracts through the Cooperative Purchasing Act, the district may use that contract from another school district to meet our needs. So it's very important to respond to the RFP. And there are occasions when the school district, even though you may be on contract with another district, we may have some special needs and issue our own RFP. But we do encourage you to participate in those cooperatives because they enlarge your ability to do business with a variety of school districts. Once again, thank you for this time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mark, for providing us with that amazing information about Garland Independent School District, as well as giving them some invaluable information as far as responding to their RFPs and getting them in on time. Thank you again, Mark. Representing Fort Bend Independent School District is Jeanette Boulware. Jeanette is the Small Business Enterprise Program Coordinator, managing Fort Bend ISD Small Business Program, exceeding the board's goal of 25%. The success of the program has led to several recognitions, including but not limited to the Subcontractor USA 2016 and 2018 Supplier Diversity Champion Award. Jeanette?
Thank you so much, Stephanie. On behalf of Fort Bend ISD's board and the superintendent, thank you to Annie and Stephanie and Dallas ISD for allowing Fort Bend ISD's Small Business Enterprise Program to share criteria for doing business with Fort Bend ISD. Fort Bend ISD is the eighth largest district in Texas with more than 77,000 students, and it is the most diverse district in the nation. We have a small business enterprise program that has a 25% participation goal, and we award contracts in construction, architectural design, and engineering services. Our program is race and gender neutral. I know most of you say, okay, but she didn't mention goods and services, even though, although goods and services is not listed, we also share in that providing those opportunities for goods and services vendors as well. Next slide, please. First thing we ask is that you register to be a vendor. And upon registration, we utilize Bonfire, and the link is there for you all to access. And there's also a video link there to share with you on how to register as a vendor. And you can always get in touch with me and I will share information with you as well and walk you through the process if necessary. We only accept the following certifications. That's the City of Houston, SBE, MBE, WBE, and PDBE, Metro, SBE, the Port Authority, SBE, and the United States Small Business Administration, SBA 8A. We ask you for those three things. One, vendor registration. Two, certification. And we ask for your capability statement, which is a one-page, one-sided resume of your company. Next slide, please. For our opportunities, I've placed links there for you all to go to our Bonfire Hub, Purchasing Bonfire Hub, to get those opportunities. And there are some that are listed. You can reach out to me at 281-327-7697, or you can go to the small business page, which is www.fortbendisd.com/S as in Sam, B as in boy, E as in Eric, P as in Paul, or you can email me. Right now, we're continuing to meet virtually. We're working on the 2022 schedule where some will be virtual, some will be face to face. But if you would like to meet with me, you can go to our page, click on the link one-on-one meeting request, and we will schedule a date and time to meet with you virtually. Thank you again, Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Jeanette, for providing us with information on doing business with Fort Bend ISD. And now we're going to take a quick poll. We want to know, what types of services does your company offer? Do you offer construction, professional services that requires a license, goods, service, or other? Let us know. I love it. You guys are not hesitating on responding to these poll questions. I love it. Thank you so much for participating in our poll. Okay, it looks like service is in the lead right now as you guys are responding, but we still have a couple more coming in. All professional services and goods are tied right now. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. And then after this poll, we're going to have a Q&A session with Dallas Independent School District, Houston ISD, Urban ISD, Garland ISD, and Fort Bend ISD. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere because we're about to start our Q&A session. And I'm going to go ahead and end this poll and share the results. Okay, so it looks like 10% of you are construction, 23% of you are professional services, another 23% of you are providing goods, and 32% of you are service, and 12% of you are other. Thanks again so much for participating in our ISD Day poll. And now we're going to go ahead and get started with our Q&A session. So if I can have representatives from Dallas ISD, Houston ISD, Irving ISD, Garland ISD, and Fort Bend ISD participate with us as we ask questions. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and ask questions for Houston ISD first. So one of the questions, Yesenia, is from Jen, who wants to know if a company is part of a purchasing cooperative such as TIPS, can HISD use that in lieu of a company vendor approval?
Okay, there we go. I was trying to off mute. So there are cooperatives that are used throughout the districts. I don't have the specifics, but if you reach out, I can give you the list of cooperatives that the district accepts and has currently in place. However, because you are part of a cooperative does not automatically make you an approved vendor. If there is a solicitation that requires or that's relates back to your product or service, you do have to bid the project just like everybody else through the solicitation that's currently out there, whether it's an RFP, RFQ, CMAR, you will have to follow that same process.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And let's see. I'll come back to you, Yesenia. I'm going to jump over to Mark with Garland ISD. We had another cooperative question for Garland ISD, and I'll go ahead and give this one to you, Mark. Is what was the name of the cooperative purchasing group mentioned by Garland ISD? Not the Central Texas Purchasing Alliance, but the other one.
The other cooperative is the one that's the Educational Purchasing Cooperative of North Texas, EPCNT. That is for the school districts in regions 10 and 11. Educational Purchasing Cooperative of North Texas.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. And here's another question for you, Mark. Barbara wants to know, who is the purchasing contact for temporary staffing and executive search?
Temporary services would be Diane Fields is the buyer for that service. Diane Fields is the buyer for temporary service.
Awesome, thank you so much. And this is actually gonna go to all the ISDs. Is there any list you have that have ISDs for grocery? So I guess food.
Actually, this is Jerome, Urban ISD. We literally just closed one yesterday for groceries and those types of merchandises. So most likely we'll be taking that to our board in November for 1 year plus options to extend for a couple more years. So we just did ours. It was difficult getting vendors to bid because we do have a lot of campuses that would need to purchase, as needed merchandises for events and training and professional development, et cetera. So yes, we did have a need, but we closed yesterday, sorry to say.
Okay, and so Jerome, actually you saying that that's why it's so important to be proactive when
Right.
you're looking for opportunities, because there could be an opportunity that pops up on the website and you may miss it. So you have to kind of be proactive, because if you miss it, some entities have some years before that opportunity will come up again. So definitely stay persistent and make sure you look at that. So this question is going to go to all ISDs, but specifically Houston ISD, and then, well, actually all ISDs, but this is the question. Does Houston ISD and any other of the participating ISDs look at how long your business has been in service?
Yes, so there's an entire criteria that you can, any of the solicitations, if you were to log in right now, you could see just what the criteria are. There is years of experience, there's references, there's pricing, there is insurance and bonding. So yes, that does fall into one of the criteria.
Thank you so much. And so this question is directed towards Dallas ISD. How can you introduce new service which is not RFP to school districts? So I guess the question is saying, like, how can you introduce a product or service that doesn't necessarily have an RFP attached to it?
I'll take the question. It's going to be a little tricky. Part of the reason is if for some reason we have to issue solicitation, it could potentially limit that vendor's participation. So if there's generic information that we want to share across the board about a particular service, for example, you may have some product for PPE. I've gotten a ton of cold calls for that material. We just disseminate that information, and it comes through the procurement office, and we disseminate it to the departments or groups of people that we think best fit in line with that. Do you have a need for this service? And then we kind of take it from there. We try not to engage with the vendors prior to releasing a solicitation, because we don't want to ever give the appearance that we're releasing something to get a specific vendor on board. And so we try to be careful with engagement and limit that conversation and communication to the purchasing office or procurement services office only. So the districts, the departments usually know what they need, and they may engage us. And so sometimes we'll just gather that information. So if a department comes and says, I need this product, we'll go through, some of the emails we've received and said, okay, I think I found a few vendors that provide this product. So I hope I answered that question. It is a little tricky just because you don't want to show that you sound like or feel like you're giving favoritism or partiality to a particular vendor by issuing an RFP after introducing a product.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Darla. So this question is for all ISDs. Rod would like to know, is Fort Bend the only ISD that utilized the 8A program? So I know for Dallas ISD, we do not utilize the 8A. I'm not sure about the other.
There may not be others online with us now that utilizes the program, but there are others that does utilize the 8A.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. So this again is open to all the ISDs. Would security awareness training be considered professional development or technical services?
I can answer that, at least give a start to the answer. It depends. Professional development to us means training staff. And so if you're training staff on security issues, then we would consider it professional development
Yeah.
in that area. That's a start to the question, to the answer.
Okay, so do we want to pass that torch on? Does anyone else have any feedback on that particular question?
Well,
Um,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to say that to kind of follow up on the previous question about those services that are under $50,000, we aggregate according to the categories that we mentioned earlier. When vendors register, there could be some categories that are under the 50,000 where we would not be required by law to consider them or send out an RFP. That's where being registered in the system would be very helpful. And also making sure that the schools are aware that you have products and services that are available. As it relates to the question about the training, Jerome kind of hit it right on the head as it relates to, if it's there to develop staff, it would be considered staff development. And there has been, as you're aware, with as much information that's gone on and the issue and importance of school safety, many school districts have contracts in place already with those security specialists to provide that training. But if you offer the training, once again, that's where it's important to meet with the school districts that are participating in this agenda to see what services they may need. And that might be a service they need at this point in time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, since both Mark and Jerome have answered that question, we have another question specifically for Garland and Irving. Do either of your ISDs ever have a need for virtual tutoring services?
The answer is, well, for tutoring services, yes. Whether it's virtual or in person, that will depend on the end user and their particular situation. But we do have, especially with the pandemic, where certain, let's just say, grades have gone down. Yes, I've seen the need, or I've seen requests for tutoring services. For example, I think just yesterday, we had a request for almost $500,000 worth of a contract for tutoring services, which right now we're in the process of evaluating whether we need to issue an RFP or whether we need to find vendors on cooperative or interlocals or with one of our education service centers to provide those tutoring services. But certainly we do have a need because the pandemic has caused a decline or a decrease in let's say grades, and students or teachers are looking for that service so that they can bring the students back up to par.
Okay, go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
As it relates to Garland ISD, we do have some virtual training that's being provided, additional tutoring. Right now that's being conducted by our staff who are receiving a stipend or supplemental pay to provide after school additional virtual tutoring. We do have a virtual school for those who want to enroll in the virtual school part of the program, but as it relates to the tutoring right now, as of today, that need is being met by existing staff. That does not mean that wouldn't change if the demand were to grow more than the ability for us to meet that need. So that would be something that would be a good thing to talk with different school districts to see if they did have a need for that to take advantage of. But at this time, Garland is handling it with the existing staff we have.
Thank you so much, Mark. And I think we're going to answer one more question, and then we're going to have a short break where we're going to honor our veterans. So it looks like there was a question. There was actually two questions. I'm going to go ahead and try to sneak in here. One was about water filtration. They wanted to know whether or not the districts, had an interest or had any type of opportunities for water filtration. And then the other one was for healthcare professionals. Our healthcare professionals like nurses, medical assistants, radiology techs ever needed in school districts. So those two questions for all ISDs, and then we're going to go to break.
I want to chime in on the water filtration. I am not absolutely sure what you mean by water filtration, but I do know that Dallas ISD will be releasing an RFP for water treatment services on Sunday. This Sunday it will release. So you will register and check our website to see if that is in line with the services you're looking for.
Talk about perfect timing. So when you guys heard this, so the person who asked about the water filtration or water treatment, you heard it first here on ISD Day. It'll be out on Sunday. So is that a trading secret, by the way? So just make sure you guys look for that and bid on it, right? So you asked for it, you got it, let's go with it. All right, and I think that's gonna be it. And another thing that I wanted to point out too, just because of the line of questioning that I'm seeing here, there is a big difference between getting registered as a vendor and being able to do business with probably any of the districts that we have on our platform today. So I want to make sure that we get clarification on that. Let me turn my camera on here. I want to make sure that we get clarification on that. When you get registered as a vendor, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can do business with that particular district. You have to actually complete an RFP, submit your proposal, and submit your information before you can actually start doing business with the districts and become an awarded vendor. Okay, so the registration process is one process, and then completing your RFP and submitting that information is another process. So that's all the time we have right now for this particular set of questions. We will kind of jump back in there, and if our presenters are still available, we'll kind of go back, and if we have time, answer some of those other questions and try to get them answered to you even in writing. So we will definitely do that. Thank you guys so much for all of our panelists for answering our questions. We got Rose, Yesenia, Darla, Jerome, Jeanette, and Mark. Thank you guys so much. And again, like I said, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we're going to honor our veterans in the meantime. Thank you again so much. During this year's ISD Day break, we will be honoring our veterans. And this will be led by our very own Felina Willis-Smith, MWBE coordinator with Dallas Independent School District. Felina.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Stephanie, for the introduction. Before we recognize our veterans, I'd like to let you know that the Dallas ISD MWBE department is coordinating its annual Thanksgiving Christmas charity food drive on behalf of its students and their families. Our goal is to support the district's homeless education program. Due to the pandemic, we're requesting gift cards in lieu of food items and ask that you please consider donating gift cards in $20 to $25 denominations. Gift cards can be delivered to the MWBE department located at 9400 North Central Expressway. The deadline for gift cards is Tuesday, December 15th. We will share the flyer again at the end of ISD Day, or you may visit our webpage for additional information. Today, we pause to salute our veterans, active duty, military, reserves, and veterans. Veterans Day is a day we set aside to give thanks and recognize these brave men and women for their services to the United States. It is a celebration to honor America's veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the love of freedom and privileges of being an American citizen. We have a short video presentation and hope you enjoy it. Before we start the video, we'd like to ask if we have any veterans joining us today, that you take a moment and go into the chat and type your name and branch that you serve, as we want to recognize you as well. And now our video.
Well, my name is James Dollar. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and I served from 1990 to 2016. Well, Veterans Day originally came out of World War I. America had lost 116,000 men in that conflict. This is war on a scale that had not been seen by the rest of the world ever. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the armistice was signed that ended hostilities in Europe. A year later, on the anniversary, President Woodrow Wilson declared that there would be Armistice Day and that we would remember the sacrifices of the men that served and their bravery and appreciate the victory. This was done with parades and ceremonies, and there was a 2-minute cessation of business at 11 a.m. In 1926, the Congress decided that they would make a formal declaration. It was not just a celebration of the soldiers that served in World War I, it was a celebration of peace, and it was actually a peace holiday. Of course, it was a little early because in 1939, World War II began. And in 1954, President Eisenhower, in order to recognize the service of all those who served in World War II in Korea, changed it to Veterans Day. The last addition to it was in 2016, President Obama signed a Veterans Day moment of silence, so that at 3:11 in the afternoon, there's supposed to be a 2-minute of silence recognized by the United States people. Here in America, we are blessed with prosperity and freedom, but what we are often short of is gratitude. It's an opportunity to reach out and thank those people who guaranteed those safeties, that prosperity, and freedoms.
Let us pause for a moment of silence to remember those that served and are no longer with us. Thank you. We also want to recognize those veterans as presented with ISD. Thank you for sharing in our presentation as we honor our heroes. And remember, if you see a veteran tomorrow or any day, please shake their hand or bump a fist and thank them for their service. Thank you. Stephanie, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Valina. And we'd like to thank all of our veterans participating in today's event. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you so much for your service. And we're going to continue on with our program. And so now we're going to have another episode of ISD Day TV featuring Kazi Farouk. Stephanie Broughton reporting live from Dallas ISD. Here's another episode of ISD Day.
My name is Kazi Farouk. I'm the Vice President of Smart Group Systems. Currently, the CEO is Mickey Farouk. I work directly underneath him, and we've been working with DISD for over 20 years. So what we primarily focus on is audiovisual, printer toner, computer peripheral, PP products as resellers and vendors for school districts across the U.S. K through 12. Our biggest deal with an ISD, I would say, is with Dallas ISD. They gave us a massive opportunity to have a high volume deal, which entailed Microsoft Surfaces, tablets and such. And they actually asked us to do about 23,000 Surfaces in a very short period of time, which, you know, for a smaller company like us is very difficult to do. But within a month, we were able to complete 23,000 Surfaces up to par of whatever they needed, decaling, asset tagging, asset reporting, as well as the engraving, and have that a seamless project for Dallas ISD. We're always about our clients. We're always about showing our face directly to our clients, whether, you know, for DISD, we go face to face. We come, we show our face. We always love and appreciate the business that they've brought to us, because this is a kind of industry where business isn't always generally just handed to you. And once you're awarded something, we take every step diligently and focus on the ISD and their personnel.
Representing Fort Worth Independent School District is Jonathan Bay, Executive Director of Purchasing, Nellie Lucano, Purchasing Manager, and Alicia Campbell, Senior Buyer and Historically Underutilized Business Analyst. Jonathan, Nellie, Alicia.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for letting us be a part of this presentation. I've been here 16 years and I have loved every minute being in school business. I would like to address the question that someone had earlier about a bid for groceries. I currently have my retail bid open in IonWave. So if you, we were going to talk about how to get to IonWave in a few minutes, but if you're already signed up on IonWave for Fort Worth ISD, just go look for the opportunity. It's 21-083B as in boy, and it is open until November the 19th. So now I am going to hand it over to Alicia Campbell. Uh-oh. Okay, well, I'll just take it from here. I think Alicia's having some difficulties. We both, are you here?
Can you hear me? I'm here.
Okay.
My camera won't turn on, I apologize. I'm Alicia Campbell. I'm the Senior Buyer and Hub Analyst with Fort Worth Independent School District. And as Nellie mentioned, to register in IonWave, and as many other districts have mentioned, IonWave is our platform that we use for our bid system. The question was asked about, does that automatically make you an awarded vendor? And as Stephanie mentioned, it does not. So we definitely want to make sure that this is a business opportunity system where you are notified. You do need to respond to the RFP or the opportunity that is there and be an awarded vendor to do business with the Fort Worth Independent School District. We also utilize the opportunity of purchasing cooperatives like Buy Board, TIPS, and as Mark Booker mentioned, EPC&T, the Educational Purchasing Cooperative of North Texas. Can you go to the next slide? So EPC&T is one where Fort Worth ISD has utilized that for several different opportunities, and I wanted to point that out because vendors want to know about, if we do not have a bid that is out, how do they take advantage of an opportunity? We do utilize this cooperative. As he mentioned before, regions 10 and 11 districts are in this. We take advantage of, if another district has done a bid and you are a successfully awarded vendor, we reach out to that district and ask about that bid and your services in order to help us meet the goal or need that we have. The purchasing department works through with all of the campuses and departments to get their products and services that they need through the legal procurement method, which is why we all mentioned about bids and awards. Those are legal procurement methods, as well as the purchasing cooperatives. We also have our capital improvement program that works through our bond program to complete our construction related projects outlined in the bond. What I would like to highlight for you guys now is we are completing our 2017 bond and going into our 2021 bond. That bond is a little over $1 billion, so there will be several opportunities that will be coming out in the IonWave system. We host all of our opportunities in IonWave. I would like to point out that our district for the 2017 bond did over 40% with minority businesses, so the opportunities will be there. That was a little over $160 million worth of business. So we want to make sure that you guys are registered, get awarded, and have an opportunity to do business with Fort Worth ISD. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alicia and Nellie, for providing us information on Fort Worth ISD. Representing Arlington Independent School District is Kristin Johnston. Kristin began her purchasing career with Arlington ISD in 2015, and she has worked with the City of Arlington and Carrollton Farmers Branch ISD before making her return to Arlington ISD in January of 2021 as the Senior Specialist of Purchasing. Kristin?
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Dallas ISD, for letting us participate in this event with you guys. We can go ahead and go to the next slide. In our purchasing department, our director is Lisa Phillips. She returned to us at the beginning of the summer, I think end of May, beginning of June. Anna Bilodeau is our assistant director of purchasing. Anna is involved in a lot of our bond projects. We are in a 2019 bond. We are currently finishing up, I believe, phase 1 in terms of the construction builds. We do place all of our bond information on our purchasing website. And we also do have a bond website that will go into detail of any of those projects. We have 2 purchasing specialists in our department. They kind of cover our FF&E for bond projects, as well as FF&E for our regular schools that need updates and things like that, and 5 purchasing clerks that do various tasks and purchasing assignments. You can reach any of us at our purchasing email address, which is at purchasing@aisd.net. We all have access to that email address, and depending on who you are looking for, any of us can respond to it. Next slide, please. This is a list of some of the current business opportunities we have out. We do have 2 bid opportunities that we are trying out as open year-round 2206 for academic educational consultants and professional development services, as well as outside contracted services. Both of these bids, we pull the vendors' responses monthly to take to our board to be added to our approved vendors list. Like they've mentioned before, several other districts also use this program. We use IonWave for our bidding system. And just as a reminder that just because you register in IonWave does not mean that you have been added to our vendor list. You do have to respond to a bid opportunity to be added. And we do take any vendors that have responded to our board for those 2 bids. They are qualifying bids. So as long as you submit all of the information, you will be taken to our board to become an approved vendor. In this next quarter, we will have a large amount of bids going out. So I do recommend that you do register on IonWave when you can. We have the majority of all of our warehouse and transportation inventory bids coming up within the next quarter. So that includes transportation, custodial, plumbing, air conditioning and refrigeration, parts, HVAC, filters, all things within inventory will be going up to bid in the next quarter. We do have recently issued a couple of bids that have not been listed on this slide, but they are on our IonWave page, and they include the quarterly paper bid that went out earlier this week, as well as we have a produce bid and an E-rate RFP currently out as open opportunities as well. Next slide. We advertise through the commercial recorder. As I mentioned, we use IonWave for our bidding system, so any bids that we have available are through that. We also list all of our bid opportunities on our purchasing website, which can be found on the main aisd.net website through the purchasing page on there. That will have lots of information of kind of what current bids we have, as well as our bid tabs from previous bids. So if you're looking to see what all we have put out in the past, those are all listed there. We recommend that any vendor that is interested in doing business with Arlington ISD become registered on IonWave so that they are notified of when opportunities become available. As others have mentioned, you just want to make sure that you are diligent in checking the commodities that you are wanting to participate in. That is what lets the system know what you want to be notified for. It's preferred in Arlington to do business with vendors that are on the approved vendors list. But we do business through cooperatives when necessary. We're part of all of the main players, Buy Board, TIPS, Choice Partners, DIR. We're all participants in, as well as EPC&T and CTPA. Any others we are probably a member of. I just cannot think of them off the top of my head. Next slide.
Thank you so much, Kristin, for providing us with information from Arlington Independent School District. And representing Austin Independent School District is Dinita Caldwell. Dinita Caldwell joined Austin Independent School District in January 2020 as the Hub Program Director. Before joining Austin ISD, Dinita was the Supplier Diversity Director for Global Sourcing for Visa. Dinita?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Stephanie, Dallas ISD, and all of our partners for inviting Austin Independent School District to be a part of this opportunity today. As shared, my name is Dinita Caldwell, and I oversee the Hub program for the Austin Independent School District. Here is our team. We have an excellent team that I am proud to share. It's always good to put a face to a name. We have 3 Hub coordinators that if you're contacting our division, you will interact with primarily our Hub coordinators in terms of learning more about our project opportunities and connecting you to the resources that we have available. We also have our contracts management specialist, as well as our administrative assistant. And I also want to mention that and acknowledge that we report directly to our Chief Financial Officer, our CFO, Mr. Ed Ramos, and he is on the call as well. So thank you so much for your support, and thank you to the team for your support. I know you all are on the call as well. Our program mission for our department is essentially to create access and opportunity for our Hub firms. And how we define Hub at the Austin ISD is MBE, Asian, Native American, Hispanic, and African American, and WBE. So if you're certified through City of Austin, as well as the state of Texas, we have recently expanded our certifications. Now we do acknowledge certifications with the NMSDC, so we're excited about that. The National Minority Supplier Development Councils and the regional councils, we accept those certifications. So we invite you to stay connected with us through these platforms. We have our department email if you have any questions. We also have our website here. On our website, you'll see a wealth of resources, including training opportunities where you can connect directly with our team to request either training or if you have questions. A lot of times we have been using this platform with our general contractors to bounce ideas off of each other in terms of how to improve our practices and engaging our GCs and matching them with our hubs. So we do encourage you to also follow us on social media so you can receive the latest information that's going on with our Hub department. Next slide. I wanted to share upcoming outreach opportunities. We partnered with the Travis County and the IC Squared Institute, who has partnered with the University of Texas to provide training. So I wanted to make sure that you all are aware of this training. This has happened in phases. Austin ISD presented earlier this month, and here are some remaining sessions. If you all are interested in some opportunities, as you can see the different dates here and also the classes that are offered. If you will go to that website at the bottom of this slide, you can register for any of these trainings. Next slide. So I want to speak a little bit about how you connect directly with the Austin Independent School District. So as you can see here, some of the delivery methods that we use is similar to the other ISDs on the call. We have competitive sealed proposals. We have requests for proposals, requests for qualifications, construction manager at risk, as well as design build. And I also want to mention that we also utilize purchasing cooperatives as well, choice partners, and others that have been mentioned on the call. And so there's a full list of cooperatives. If you're interested in that, please reach out to us and we can connect you to our procurement team to give you more information. The e-procurement system that we use here at the district is called Bonfire. And I provided the registration link for you here. And Bonfire uses NIGP codes for you to set up your profile. Once you set up your profile in Bonfire, that allows you to view any opportunity that we have available to you within the district. Now you will receive direct communication based on the profile that you set up and the types of trades or services that you include in your profile using the NIGP codes. But on your own, once you're registered, you can view any opportunity that we have available. There is a brief 5-minute tutorial that you could view to assist you. And then we also have contact information if you have any issues getting registered in our system. And as the other ISDs mentioned, being registered in Bonfire doesn't mean that you are registered or you've submitted anything in any shape or form. You still have to be responsive to the bid opportunities that we have available, and you'll see those posted on Bonfire and how to submit. Next slide. So I wanted to share a couple of upcoming project opportunities that you have available. I do want to say that our HUB program, we assign goals for bond-funded projects, and we are currently ending our 2013 bond. We are underway with our 2017 bond. And we're gearing up, preparing for our 2022 bond. So the project opportunities that you see here on the slide will be specific to work that we assign goals to for the HUB department. And then I'll mention a couple of others that is not listed on the slide, but that you can find within Bonfire. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to our department and we can make sure that you're connected to those opportunities. I wanted to list the trades needed for each of these particular opportunities. And these are all competitive sealed proposals. You'll see that in the name, the 22 CSP. CSP is competitive sealed proposals. So some of the major trades that we're looking for, HVAC, as you can see, you'll see that quite frequently, plumbing, electrical, finishes, flooring, wall, and ceiling. Those are some reoccurring trades that we're looking for specifically for many of our targeted projects. Next slide. And before I end, I'm sorry, let me mention this very briefly. We have a copier paper IFB that is posted. We're looking for a firm to provide paper to the district. We have equity assessment. So if you have experience in conducting equity assessments, that is posted as well. That's an RFP. And again, you will find that information in Bonfire. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Dinita. And as she said, they have that opportunity available. So if you guys have those services available, please respond. Thank you again. Representing Lancaster Independent School District is Delise Kennedy. Delise worked for Dallas Independent School District for 7 years in both the payroll and accounting services department before joining Lancaster ISD, where she is currently the Director of Finance. Delise?
Hello, everybody. I want to say thank you to Dallas ISD for allowing us to be able to share with you all. This is my first time presenting and I'm very happy to be here. As was told by Stephanie, I am Delise Kennedy. I am the Director of Finance here at Lancaster ISD. We are a suburb of Dallas. There's about 900 employees, 7,000 students, and we have 11 campuses. This is my contact information. Next slide, please. Currently, the business opportunities that we have are for tutoring services. I know there was a question about virtual tutoring services. There will be an RFP and an RFQ done for that, as well as supplemental instructional materials. Right now, as I said, I do not have the RFP number because we are transitioning to IonWave's electronic bidding. We're going from paper bidding to electronic bidding, and our IonWave site has not gone live yet. I'm hoping for it to be able to go live in the next week or two. But if you would like to register, there are vendor forms on the website. If you go to Lancaster ISD and then choose the purchasing department, then you will see the vendor forms. If you have any questions about filling those out and getting it back to me, because you're more than welcome to email them, then as I said, my contact information was there. You can feel free to give me a call. Well, I'll also be doing some catalog bids, really supplemental catalog bids for our athletic supplies, catering restaurants, promotional items, and others. And with those others, that's office supplies, CTE. I heard someone asking about the groceries, of course, for our CTE program. We would need that for our culinary, our cheer, our dance, and then also uniforms for our custodial staff, as well as our transportation and custodial supplies. Also, there will be trophies and awards among other categories for our catalog bids. Next slide, please. And where we advertise on our website, and we also advertise in the daily commercial record. So if there are any bids or anything like that, you can always find that information again on our website or in the daily commercial record. And then again, this is just telling you how to get to the purchasing website on the Lancaster ISD website. Next slide, please. And of course, as you've heard with all the other school districts, please make sure all your paperwork is filled out accurately and signed and dated where applicable. Make sure that you get that paperwork in on time. I know that sometimes some vendors get I guess confused because a lot of times we have like opening dates, and we'll state a date and a time, and some are confused about if that's the opening date of that RFP or the closing date. And when we have an opening date, then that means that's when we're publicly opening that information. So that's actually the closing of the RFP. So please make sure that you get your paperwork on time to us. Also make sure that everything is filled out properly. Because sometimes leaving out the slightest thing can actually disqualify you from becoming a vendor with Lancaster. Also, with becoming a vendor, we are also part of several cooperatives, which is listed on our website, but EPCNT is one of the main ones that we use, Buy Board, Allied Service, which is the Allied Service Cooperative, which is like from El Paso, TIPS, Region 10. So if you are already part of one of those cooperatives, you can let us know on that vendor form. And when Ion Waves gets up, there will be a line in there where you can state if you're part of a cooperative on that as well. It's always best if you have any questions or concerns, or you're just uncertain about something, is to call and ask or shoot me an email. I am here to help. And I just want to say thanks again for allowing this opportunity. Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Dalise, for providing us with information on Lancaster ISD. For those of you who are interested, please make contact with Dalise. Thanks again, Dalise.
Thank you.
Representing San Antonio Independent School District is April Alcorta and Edward Romero. Prior to joining San Antonio ISD, April worked for the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce as the retention specialist. She developed and implemented a robust retention plan for the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. April is currently the San Antonio ISD Assistant Director of Business Development Program. Edward Romero is currently the Director of Operations Business Services for the San Antonio ISD Operations Services Division and holds over 15 years of school district experience in K-12 business operations. He has served in the role of Director of Purchasing and Risk Management for Southside ISD, Business Consultant for Region 20 Education Service Center, and Lead Buyer for Edgewood ISD. April, Edward.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is April Alcorta. I'm the Assistant Director to the Business Diversity Program. Next slide, please. So our Biz Diversity Program launched on March 2018, and basically our mission is to promote and support, encourage small businesses that they can do business with SAISD. We want to increase our participation, bring awareness to our program, and to achieve at least 20% of the total dollar value of awarded contracts. So when we say 20% of the total dollar value of contracts, what does that mean? So we passed a bond in November 2020 for $1.3 billion. 20% of the total dollar awarded contracts to SWMB will be $260 million. Next slide, please. So how do I become a vendor with SAISD? So our solicitation portal is called Bonfire, and you want to register with SAISD through this portal. We are having a webinar on December 1st at 10 a.m. If you are interested, please email me. We are going to have a Bonfire representative talk how to register and also talk about the commodity codes and how can it assist you for your goods and services so you can get more solicitations through us. So since we have a bond for 2020 for $1.3 billion, all the solicitations will be coming through Bonfire. So you do want to register with us. The next solicitation for our bond is going to be our contract management at risk solicitation. It's going to be 30 projects. And also for the summer of 2022, we also have solicitations for security upgrades and chiller replacements. So please email me if you're interested in that, or register with Bonfire if you already know how that works. The other thing you want to do is our vendor packet, which is the link on the left-hand slide. If you click on that, it will receive an interactive PDF. You want to fill that out completely, sign and date it, and send it back to me so it can get processed by our finance department. Next slide, please. And Edward will be on to talk about a procurement process.
Hi, good afternoon. So just to take you real quick through our procurement process, which is most of our bids that are $50,000 or more. So the first part, of course, is we advertise, and we do advertise in the Heartbeat. And we also do sometimes advertise in the Express News, but primarily it'll be in the Heartbeat. And then we do have an online bid portal, which some mentioned earlier, that is the Bonfire bid portal. So everything is done electronically in Bonfire, and we would have in the solicitation when it comes out, the pre-proposal conference. If it's there, it will be listed, the information on there for you to attend. The next step would be any site visits that come up. You can keep clicking, I'm sorry. And so any site visits, if there are any for any project, sometimes we have site visits that will be there, and the information will tell you when and where, and that usually will occur either at the pre-proposal conference or it may be listed directly in the solicitation. Also, any vendor questions, again, it's very important. There's deadlines that come up, and so those questions must be submitted by the deadline, and that's all, again, through the bid portal. And we do respond and submit addendums to the bid portal. And the other thing is, of course, the deadline, many people hit on this. Please, when it's usually 2 p.m., that's the insider information for us, but never submit after, do it ahead of time, because we hate it if for some reason we have to disqualify you just because we didn't get a complete bid. And of course, once it's all submitted and the deadline passes, we have our contract administrators review all the information in the system, and then our bid evaluation committee is developed, and they are the ones that evaluate and rank the proposals. And of course, then after that, that selection is taken to our board for approval. And after that, once the board approves it, that's typically when our department contract management will issue a notice of award. And then after that, the final piece is we get all that good stuff, bonds, information, issue a PO, and issue a notice to proceed. You can go to the next slide. So, and then just one thing, what do we look for when you submit a bid? We're looking for your experience, your demand, just basically, if you've heard a capability statement, a well-written one, it's your pitch line. It's very important. If it's not in there, we don't know who you are and what you do if you don't tell us. So that's very important. We've had some companies just tell us like, oh, I have all these years of experience, I've done this, but if you didn't put it in the bid, then we have to take it at face value and compare it with the others. So please do put it in there. The other thing is, depending on the bid, we'll look for like financial stability, how long you've been in service. We also have a SWMB form that's very important, and that's all the certifications. It's in every solicitation, so you do get points for that. And just everything on there, the criteria, it's very important. Please do read it and then submit it. Don't be afraid of all the paperwork. It's just part of the process and we have to have it. So we thank you and we encourage you to do that. You can go to the next slide. This is just a timeline. April mentioned before the bond 2020, it's $1.3 billion. We're currently right now a little bit ahead, but we're in the middle of our design charrettes right in the middle of December. So just a little insider information. Our CMAR RFQs are for our general contractors for construction. We anticipate early January that they'll be hitting the street, be coming out, and they'll be coming out in bonfire. So again, please register. And we do have the 2-week holiday break for the school district, so it's important just to be aware of that. So that's why we say it's an aggressive timeline, but the earliest possible will be early January that will come out. And it'll be a lot, there'll be major, 21 major project renovations at campuses, and then there'll be also 15 other renovations that will be closing out for our bond 2016. Next slide, please. And then just, these are the most important people, the leaders on my team. And they can't do it without them. They support you. They're here. We put their information there. Please reach out to them. April is a wonderful asset. We also, as you know, it's very tough doing this work because we also advocate for small businesses. And so it's advocacy, training, and also just here to do business with you. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, April and Edward. And Edward, I just want to let you know you got a super fan giving you a shout out in the chat box, talking about how you are such an advocate for small, minority, and women-owned businesses. So thank you so much for your service. And thank you so much for both of you for providing information on doing business with San Antonio ISD. And now it's time for another quick poll. So let's get ready. You guys have been doing so great with these polls. It's just amazing. So this question is, are you representing a veteran-owned business? I know I saw a lot of you chiming in, letting us know your name and the branch that you serve. So let us know, are you representing a veteran-owned business? I see those numbers going up, 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 up. So we're gonna let this poll, let's see, it looks like, okay, it looks like quite a bit of you have responded. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this poll because after this poll, we're going to jump on to do our Q&A session with Fort Worth, Arlington, Austin, Lancaster, and San Antonio ISD. So I'm going to go ahead and end this poll and share the results. So it looks like 11% of you are veteran-owned business or representing a veteran-owned business, and 89% of you are not veteran-owned. So again, we want to thank all of our veterans. And now we're going to go on to our Q&A section. So again, if we can get Fort Worth, Arlington, Austin, Lancaster, and San Antonio back so we can answer some questions. You guys have been doing so great as far as our participants for asking a bunch of questions. You guys are asking a lot of different questions. And again, if you guys can remember to put the initial of the school district that you want, if you have a specific school district that you want to ask the question to, so therefore we can get that question answered. Okay, so this is a question for all ISDs. Are you planning to change the paper straws from plastic? So do we have any schools, or do you guys know of any plans to change from plastic straws to paper straws? I know that's really popular in like states like California, so I'm not sure how, if you're willing to expand to try to go to a different state, but I know you might want to check into some of those states that actually have laws in place to kind of change those things from paper or from plastic to paper. So hopefully that will help you. Okay, and here's a question from Carmen. And again, to all ISDs, do you give feedback on when a bid is not accepted?
Well, for us, if it is asked, then yes, we will give feedback on why, if a particular vendor asked why they were not awarded, then yes, I do give the feedback on why.
Okay,
but our tabulations are shared out there on the website.
Okay, perfect. And so just for our attendees, typically something like that will be called a debrief. And typically that's something that you would have to request. It's not automatically provided if you do not win. So for those of you who are interested in that, you may want to reach out to one of your contacts and see what their debrief process is. But thank you so much for asking that question. Here's another question for all ISDs. Are you aware of any RFPs for HVAC filters?
I know in Arlington, we do issue an RFP for HVAC filters. I don't think we'll have one until probably April or May, but we do issue a bid for HVAC filters.
Okay, and here's another question for all ISDs. Is any district looking for after-school services for 2022?
I'm not sure if we're specifically looking for those services. I know we typically do, so I don't know if we're actively looking for that, but whoever posed that question, if you reach out to me, I can find out for you and connect you to that division within our district.
Fort Worth ISD will be issuing a new RFP probably December, January timeframe.
And we do as well, but we're currently under contract, but just stay tuned and register for the next one.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Stephanie, can I chime in for the HVAC filters?
Absolutely.
Dallas ISD will be releasing one, not this week, but the following week. It will also include all HVAC services, parts, and products.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Darla, for that. And this question is for all ISDs. Do any ISDs use outside vendors for media monitoring, or is that all done in-house as the cost is under $10,000 annually?
Could you repeat the beginning?
Yes, they want to know about media monitoring. So Vanette, can you provide us with a little bit more information as exactly to what the information you need or seeking, so that we can get a little bit more clarification on that. And while we wait for the clarification on that question, we'll move on to another question. So this question is for all ISDs. Once you have been awarded an RFP, as a vendor, what is the best way to solicit services?
Well, for us, if you've been awarded an RFP and it's not a catalog bid, then most of the time, then you are that particular awardee. So you have become that vendor for that particular service. If it's a catalog RFP or catalog bid, then that has been awarded to several different vendors. And that is stated in our verbiage in our award that you may get the business, you may not, but that information is shared with the district and with the campuses and with the other departments. So you will hopefully get some business, but it's not always guaranteed if it's a catalog.
Okay. So Dawn, if you need some more assistance with that particular question, just let us know. And someone wants to know, and let me see. This is kind of a two-part question. I've seen this question before, so I'm going to ask this. Must the entity be located in Texas to do business with your ISD? And I'll open that to all ISDs.
It does not need to be located in Texas, but there is a state law that provides additional points for companies that are located directly in Texas, though. So there is like a scale, and they would have an advantage, but we can still accept other offers as well.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you so much for answering that question. And then the other part of that question is, are there any need for creative services such as graphic design? And that's, again, all ISDs.
I would say they can register with us, but we actually have our own printing services here for Lancaster ISD. If there is something that we do need to outsource, then having that information would be valuable.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you so much, Delise, for that information. And it looks like okay, I think we answered the question about the water filtration. So again, look for that coming up soon. And I've seen a couple of questions along this line, and this is also for all ISDs, and it's what procedures are required to provide employee benefits such as life insurance, disability insurance, et cetera. And I know I saw another question along the same lines as this, as to if you have like voluntary services for employees, how can a vendor, or is it, what's the process for that for vendors? Anybody want to chime in on that? Or does anyone have any opportunities for that? Or how does that work? So if for like legal, what's that one where you have like legal services for employees, like different services for employees. So how can a vendor get in on that?
In SAISD, we do separate them out. So we do have a bid solicitation for voluntary products like that. It just depends on when it comes out. I know right now we're under contract. Usually they'll come up every 2 years. It just depends.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And then I've seen a lot of questions about new companies. So I'll just open this up to all ISDs. Are there any, one particular question wanted to know if there were any particular solicitations directed towards small or brand new companies? So do you guys have any feedback on that?
So what I would say for our program, in terms of new companies, what we do is have meetings with you. We have hub forums in place where we'll meet with you and learn about your company, learn about the type of services or products that you provide. And then we determine the next level meeting and who the relevant internal team members and decision makers that need to be there so that we can introduce your company to our leadership. But again, as many others have stated, the best thing to do is to register in our systems so that you can be prepared when those opportunities come about and then go from there.
Awesome. Okay. And this question is for all. Do you have to be awarded a bid first to become a vendor for under threshold quotes?
So at SAISD, when you fill out that vendor packet, it's just a vendor file number. You don't become a vendor with SAISD until you're awarded a contract.
Could you repeat that, April?
For SAISD, when you complete the vendor packet and I receive a vendor file number for you, I do email back to the vendors. But that doesn't mean that you're a vendor with us until you're awarded a contract with SAISD.
Okay, thank you so much for explaining that. And I know that there's also been a lot of questions along the lines of information for being a vendor, or, what are the thresholds for being a vendor? Or if I'm a vendor with San Antonio, does that mean I'm automatically a vendor with Austin ISD? And I just want to let all of our attendees know you have to register with each entity individually and separately in order to be a registered vendor with their particular entity. So I think we're going to ask 2 more questions and then we're going to move on. We have, this is for all districts. Does any district have any abatement needs?
We have older buildings, so yes, it would be a part of one of the, likely probably something that's subcontracted or a part of the general construction, but yes, it typically It just depends on the age of building, and like our facilities are older.
Okay, great. Okay, Edward. So since we have you here, we have a question targeted for San Antonio. What is acceptable financial stability documents? That's the question. Is that part of your process for submitting a bid?
It's not for every bid, but it depends. Usually if it's a request for qualification, so that's usually when we're looking at our professional services and sometimes our professional development services, but really our professionals that are like architects, engineers, for example, and usually we'll look at 3 years of financial stability. But I always say, if you're gonna bid and you only have 1 year or you've been one, put what you have. And definitely with same thing with references too, put the references that you do have, because you know, we want you to put something, and I've had some not put anything, and it's better that you put something because we do rank you.
Okay, Edward, since we're on a roll with you right now, this question is specifically for you. And it is, how can a startup show financial stability?
Just a simple balance sheet or financial statement. And it just depends on the service, like I mentioned. Like if it's not something professional, we won't ask for it in the bid. So it's just important to read the bid documents. Like if you're selling supplies or services, I mean, supplies or like a commodity or something else, we won't ask for that information.
Okay.
And I do, I'll add too, sorry. I'll add also too, we do advocate for small business. So usually like those smaller dollar projects, if they're available, we will try to offer that, and I will waive certain things that will do. I'll waive some of the requirements for like a small business just to kind of help them compete.
Okay, so I'm going to ask one more question, and then we're going to hold all the other questions until towards the end, because we still have another set of presenters available. So this one is for all ISDs. For professional services, architectural designs, are there any RFPs coming up for architectural services? No.
So as I mentioned, we're gearing up for our 2022 bond. So we will. It's a little bit, a ways out. However, now's the time to build those relationships, have conversations, meet our team. But those will be coming fairly soon.
All right, awesome. And so I just want to let our attendees know, I know a lot of the questions have been directed towards your particular area of expertise. And I can say that's why it's so important to be proactive and look for opportunities on the respective website, because sometimes they may or may not know what's going to be coming up projected far out. So they may not have your particular answer today, but it may be available in the near future. So just keep that in mind. Thank you guys so much. Delise, Kristin, April, Dainita, Edward, and Mark, thank you so much for popping up with us too. And we are definitely going to answer more questions. So just hang in there with us. Thank you guys so much for hanging up in there with us so far right now. So we're going to continue on with the rest of our program. And we have another ISD Day TV moment for you.
What we do at all janitorial professional services is we do ongoing maintenance for several entities, commercial, construction, final cleaning. We work with hospitals, we work with private companies, we work with ISDs, community colleges, we work with government institutions. So we do pretty much ongoing maintenance. So I have really seen the benefit of being certified. It's tremendously great, not only for our company, but also for our clients, because some of our clients require to do business with some of the minority women-owned certified companies. The most rewarding part of working with ISDs, it's been, being able to help our clients. It's been able to utilize our certifications And also, like I said, if we do good business for them, there's many opportunities, and not only for minority women-owned company, but also for minority companies, period. Your business goes to the next level, and it's definitely very rewarding doing business with Dallas ISD. As we know, Dallas ISD supports a lot of minority businesses and minority women-owned businesses, so it's such a pleasure to do business not only directly with them, but also through our general contractors and other businesses. Let's go ahead and get certified. Let's do business with each other. Let's support all our minority women business people and minority women-owned companies. And and we thank actually the Dallas ISD and all the general contractors and all these companies that really support companies, minority companies, doing business with them as well. So thank you so much. May God bless you all.
Representing Dallas County is Jesse Crawford. He has over 20 years of global diversity experience with sustainable results with Fortune 100 companies, public utilities, government entities, and small and diverse owned businesses. He is currently the director of the SBE program for Dallas County. He is a progressive thinker and innovative leader with a proven background in supplier inclusion, supply chain management, strategic sourcing and procurement, entrepreneurship, and community engagement. Jesse?
All right. Good afternoon, and I've pressed start the video. I don't know if you can see me on your end, but I definitely clicked on it here. I want to thank everyone who is still attending with us. I know we're at the very end of the program, and so I want to be mindful and respectful of your time. So here at Dallas County, we are the second most popular county in Texas, as well as the 9th most populous city in the United States. And we are committed to increasing business opportunities for small businesses, as well as the other representatives of our business community, such as diverse-owned suppliers, LGBTQ, veterans, so on and so forth. Back in 2018, Dallas County's Commissioners Court established our SBE program for the purpose of promoting equal opportunities for small businesses. And this creates a level playing field on which those businesses can compete fairly. Next slide, please. And so in any firm that is a small business enterprise or entity that is interested in working with us, they must first be certified as an SBE by one of the 3 recognized agencies that we have listed here. So you've heard from Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. We also recognize the North Central Texas Regional Certification Agency. And then finally, we have the Women's Business Council Southwest. And so the vendor must have a local presence within our Dallas County Metropolitan Statistical Area, or MSA. And as you can see here on the screen, it consists of the Dallas County region, Tarrant County, Denton County, and finally Collin County. Next slide. So what do we actually procure? Well, interestingly enough, you've heard from my peers and earlier today, we're no different. We look for professional services, goods and services, as well as construction. And you can see here on the screen all of those items listed there, and even more that we procure. Just imagine what it would take to actually run a county, and it gives you a really good idea of the span of control that we have. Next slide. So when we look at our procurement thresholds, anything under 3,000, although multiple quotes are not necessary, the county will and may consider one quote to determine if the price is fair and reasonable. Anything between the ranges of 3,000 to under 50,000, we will solicit at least 3 quotes. And then finally, anything over 50K, a formal procurement process will be started or engaged. That includes the IFBs, or invitation for bids, request for proposals, as well as the request for qualifications. And I want to also note that Dallas County's purchasing methods and processes are governed by local, state, and federal purchasing requirements. Next slide. So here at the county, we have a system called BidSync that we utilize for those bidding opportunities. And we encourage any and all businesses who are interested in working with us to visit the Dallas County Purchasing Department website. And this website is very informative. This is where you would actually view and respond to those active solicitations, which are posted there. Also on my SBE website, we have a listing of the most current bid opportunities as well. And we refresh and update that really frequently to make sure that we're matching it, but we'll steer our suppliers first and foremost to the Purchasing Department website. Again, it's called BidSync. Next slide. And so, yeah, thank you, Stephanie. So that concludes my actual presentation, but I want to encourage you to reach out to us. I have a team of several officers who handle not only the RFPs from a support perspective, but we also conduct outreach. And so, Stephanie, I want to thank you, Annie Partee, and the DISD, as well as Margot Posey and the DFW Minority Supplier Development Council for this great opportunity. Enjoy the rest of the event.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jesse, for providing us with information on doing business with Dallas County. And now we're going to move on to Tarrant County. Representing Tarrant County is Teresa Labach. Teresa has been in the purchasing arena since 2001, and she is currently the historically underutilized business coordinator with Tarrant County. Teresa's prior duties in purchasing has given her the unique ability of putting the end users in touch with just the right vendors. Teresa?
Okay, now then, good afternoon, everyone. Can we look at that, the first slide, please? One of the most important things about doing business with Tarrant County is to get registered in our Tarrant Vendor Online Registration System, or TVORS. All of our solicitations are pulled from this database, and so we want to make sure that everyone gets all the information. A lot of times when you're moving between, say, a subscription, you may miss those very important addendums that are required. So make sure that you're out there registering with as many people as you can. Our website, our address is going to be at www.tarrantcounty.com. And when you go to that, you're going to see about a third of the way down the page, these blue circles, and you're going to choose the one for departments. You're going to scroll through all those departments and see all the kind of things that, all the kind of departments that Tarrant County has and that we purchase for. But you're going to land on that purchasing page, and this is what it's going to look like at the very bottom. You're gonna find a go-to box. Now then, on the far right is our vendor registration. Next slide. So we're going to go through a little overview of what it takes to register with Tarrant County. Next slide. Our team, to get started, you're going to need to gather information, your company data, business name, business address. One of the important things that you're going to need is your tax identification number, your phone number, and I still have fax in there, but you can leave that one blank if you no longer use a fax. Email and primary contact information. We also have the next section on that is going to be where you're going to choose your commodity codes. We use NIGP codes. And so that is what you're going to use. You're going to go through our long list there and pick out all of those things that you and your company offer. There's going to be a section for your company data users, whether or not it's you have a general mailbox or you want those emails sent to several different people. And finally, if you are, we're going to ask you for those certifications. And what I'm going to need you to do, since we are still working on getting a new system, I'm going to ask you to email your certificate to me once you have finished your certificate, once you have finished your registration. Sorry about that. Next slide. Like I said, the most important part in doing business with Tarrant County is to sign up on our TVORs. It's a web-based vendor registration system, and it is a proprietary system right now. It's designed to be easy to use. It is self-service, and please know that all of our bids and quotes and RFPs are all solicited out of our TVORs system. And then, like I said at the bottom, always forward me a copy of your current Hub or MBE certification. We do accept inside and outside the state of Texas certifications. We're one of the few people that do. So if you have that certification from, if your corporate office is located in Detroit and you've got a Detroit certification, you can definitely use that with us and we will count that towards your hub. Next slide.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for providing information on doing business with Tarrant County.
Okay, I just wanted to say one more thing.
Sure.
As of November 2nd, we received a $4 million bond package for roads and repairs and things like that here in the county. So I want to make sure that any of you that do those kinds of services, that you contact me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for providing us with that additional information on your bond package. That's exciting news for our participants. Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and do this quick poll. And then after the poll, we're going to have question and answer with Dallas and Tarrant County. So this next poll that we're going to have is going to be whether or not you're a certified business owner. Are you a MWBE certified business owner? You guys are doing so great with these polls, and thank you so much for hanging in there with us. We truly appreciate it. We are on the halfway mark. We're almost there. We've gotten a lot of amazing information from a lot of independent school districts, as well as our 2 counties that have joined us this year. So thank you so much for responding to our poll. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share the results. So it looks like 58% of you are in fact certified. Congratulations. 28% of you are not, and 14% of you are working on it. So that's great news. So you guys keep working on it. And so now I'm going to go ahead and call back Teresa and Jesse, and I'm going to see if we have any questions in the Q&A section for our counties. Let me see. Does anyone have any questions for our counties? Let's see. Okay, Jesse, are you and Teresa, can I have you guys join us back for Q&A?
All right, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So this question is directed for you, Jesse. It says, I understand there must be a local presence in order to be able to do that. Okay, it says, I understand there must be a local presence in order to do business. Is there an opportunity to open a local satellite office once a project is awarded? Or do we have to be established locally for a certain period of time? And again, this is directed to you, Jesse.
Sure. So for us here at the county, our preference and the requirement is that you have a presence already within our metropolitan statistical area. as I shared. So that's again, Dallas, Denton, Tarrant, as well as Collin County. So that's our preference and requirement, is that you're already established upon that contract award. But you know, if there's a company that's interested in entering this market, you know, again, you know, it's all about competition. It's all about having a presence. It's also about being established and having the ability to compete fairly. So I would encourage those companies to come to Dallas as soon as they can. You know, we're one of the fastest growing regions in the country, and we are open for business. Thank you.
Awesome. And so this question is for both you and Teresa. It says, when will the RFQs be out for transportation projects from the bond program?
That one, we just won that a few days ago. So that will be hitting our office. I'm hearing a little echo here. That will be hitting our offices and our construction and transportation department very shortly. I'm going to say probably sometime next year.
Yeah, I'm in a similar answer with my peer in Tarrant County. So I would encourage anyone to, again, go to our purchasing website to follow up and double check for any live and open opportunities there. But we're looking forward to that over the next few months.
Okay, so this question is for both counties. Oh, okay. They want to know for Dallas County if you're willing to accept Texas Hub.
You know, we will accept those certifications because that is a competitive advantage for you, no matter who and where you're certified as far as those certification statuses. But for our program to count that particular spend, you have to have the SBE certification. So I want to be clear. You know, if you're a veteran, if you're a woman-owned small business, all of those certifications are fine for you to market and position yourself competitively. But for the Dallas County program, we are SBE based. And so you must have those certifications through the 3 aforementioned entities that I shared in my presentation. For the sake of the call, I'll repeat them again. It's the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Council, it's the Women's Business Council Southwest, and then it's the NCTRCA.
Thank you so much, Jesse, because that was actually another question for you to repeat that. So you knocked out 2 birds with 1 stone. Thank you. And so we have another question for Dallas County. If we office in Kaufman County, will that be considered part of the area that would qualify to do work within Dallas County?
No, ma'am. Again, I mentioned the 4 counties that we recognize. So those are the 4 that are currently recognized in the SBE program. And I meet suppliers from across the you know, Texas is such a huge state, it goes without saying. But those are the 4 counties that we recognize.
Okay, so Jesse, actually this question is for Jesse and Teresa, but more specifically for Jesse, since the questions have been targeted towards you, directed towards you as it relates to location. So is that just for the SBE program or in general? So can anyone do business with either of your counties, no matter where they're located, or are you specifying for the SBE program?
Great question, and I want to be clear. So thank you to whoever submitted that. We're open for business. We encourage any and everyone to compete and apply for opportunities here in Dallas County. But to be recognized by our SBE program, you have to be certified and have a presence in those the 4 aforementioned county areas. But yes, you can do business with the county as a general vendor / contractor and not have that SBE certification. So I want to be clear on that. I don't want it to sound like if you're not an SBE, you can't do any business with us. That's not my message here. But for us to recognize you, to track your spend, to have the prime submit their subcontractors into our compliance tracking systems, you have to be SBE certified.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Well, I actually asked the question because of the line of questionings that we were receiving in. I kind of figured that there may have been some confusion in there as it relates to the ability to do business with either county and whether or not the information that you were providing was more specific to the SBD program.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
So did I answer your question, Stephanie, before we move?
Yes, and it was really more for clarification for our attendees, so therefore they know, yes, you could do business with either county, either Dallas County or Tarrant County, no matter what county you're in.
That's right.
Okay, and I'm looking to see if there are any, thank you so much, Jesse, and thank you so much, Teresa, for answering these questions. I'm trying to see if we have any other questions for the two of you before we move on, and it doesn't look like we have any additional questions for you guys, but thank you guys so much for hanging out and answering those questions. And we're going to continue on with the rest of our program, but please stay around if you can. For all of our presenters, please stay around if you can, and we'll see if we have any available time at the end of the program to see if we can sneak in any more questions and answer any more, have any answers to share with our attendees. Thank you guys again so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here to provide you with additional information about the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council is Andrew Nash. Andrew is the Director of Operations for the Council, and the Council certifies and brings together ethnic minority companies to do business with Fortune 500 companies. Andrew has overall responsibility for support staff, technology, and the responsibility of tracking the organization's progress. Andrew?
All right, just want to thank everyone today. Thank Dallas ISD, thank all the folks for coming out today. Again, I'm Andrew Nash, Director of Operations with the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. We certify ethnic minority companies to do business with Fortune 500 companies. We have a nationally recognized MBE certification. We do State of Texas Hub, but most importantly, we do SBE. So any of those certifications, you should be able to do business. I want to thank the City of Austin. That was great news to hear that they take the NMSDC certification. So again, if you're certified with us, you can do business with the with Austin ISD. So we're excited about that. So again, if you're not certified, I think Stephanie said there were about 28% of the folks that are not certified. Again, there's other certification agencies in the area, but again, we do offer a nationally recognized MBE certification. So we're excited about that. Just want to, again, if you need information on certification, I'll definitely put that in the chat. You can go to our website. We have a workshop, certification workshop every Thursday at 1 p.m., 1 to 2 p.m. So that information is on our website. So we'll go over the application in its entirety. Again, with us still being a COVID protocol right now with our certification committee, again, you can fill that out online. So again, we're excited about that. We're excited about this event. Just want to thank Annie and her team and all the folks that participated today. And don't want you to forget, you know, if we were in person, we would be asking for gift cards. Part of what we do, we definitely like to give back. Not only this, we want you to come out and do those things. So I know Annie talked about, was going to talk about that. So as part of our donation, the council is going to donate $500 in gift cards to Dallas ISD in their efforts. So if we were in person, again, to my ISDs, if we were in person, we would have bought lunch for you, and you would have went and met all the great folks that was there. So we're excited, but rest assured, next year we're live with all of our events. You heard it first here. The council is back live with all their events on next year. So again, look out for those emails, look out for those invitations, sign up and register. So then, but again, Stephanie, thank you for a great job that you did today, putting all this together. Valina, the dedication. Thank you to those who served. Tomorrow's Veterans Day. If you know a veteran, call and tell them thank you. All right, Steph.
All right, thank you so much for that information. And I just wanted to check to see if we had, I know someone put in the chat that they wanted information about certification. So I want to just open it up, since we do have a few minutes, to see if anyone had any questions regarding certification with the DFW MSDC, because this is a great certification agency, and certifications are actually given not through the districts. Okay, the districts do not do any of the certifications. Certifications is done through a third-party entity like the DFW MSDC. So if you guys have any questions regarding getting certified, let us know. You know, we are here to assist you. So if you have any questions on certifications, please put those questions in the Q&A box.
And Stephanie, I was telling a group at the Dallas Chamber today that it's important to be certified. I know when they're bidding, and I know Dallas ISD, the bidding process comes down to a point, a half a point, a quarter of a point, but I think you get a certain amount of points. I think I said 5 points for being an MBE when you're bidding there, but sometimes those points make a difference. So again, if you're eligible to be certified, not only through our organization or any other organization, you want to make sure you do that, because that's going to give you some points on the application. And Stephanie, correct me if I'm wrong on that. That's there, but again, there's important. Our certification and any other certification agencies, we can take up to 90 days to get the certification done from getting a completed application. The thing is making sure we get all the documents we need so we can get you through the process. We're averaging less than 90 days. That's there. But again, I'm going to put our website. I think I saw somewhere it popped up once our website. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat for you. That way you can go to our website to see our certification information, as well as on our website, we'll have information on our certification workshop.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I saw a couple of questions or requests in there for you, Andrew, and I'm going to go ahead and let you get back to that. And we're going to continue to move forward with the rest of our program. And for those of you who stuck in there with us for the remainder of this program, after our next presenter, if we have additional time, we'll go back to Q&A with our panelists. Thank you again, Andrew.
Thank you.
It is with great pleasure that I am introducing our next presenter, Annie Holmes Partee. Annie currently serves as the director for the Minority Women Business Enterprise Department for Dallas ISD. She has a background in MWBE, purchasing, auditing, and contract compliance. Under her leadership, Dallas ISD is continuously recognized for its MWBE program efforts. She currently serves on the board of the North Central Texas Regional Certification Agency and is certified as a Compliance Administrator, Master Compliance Administrator, and Certified Texas School Business Specialist. Annie?
Thank you, Ms. Stephanie. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Dallas ISD and the DFW Minority Supplier Development Council, thanks for attending our virtual ISD Day. We certainly hope you received a return on your investment of time. Our desire was to create a one-stop approach to networking businesses with local and statewide ISDs and counties. As director of the district's Minority Women Business Enterprise Department, one of my primary responsibilities and goals is to ensure the inclusion of minority and women-owned companies in a legal and meaningful way in all aspects of the district's purchasing and contracting opportunities. We have been given the honor and the privilege through board policy CH Local to provide and offer MWBE advocacy, outreach, contract compliance and monitoring, reporting, selection committee evaluations, dissemination of upcoming business opportunities, trainings, workshops, webinars, social media management, marketing, advertisement, and philanthropic support for Dallas ISD students and their families. We are here to assist and serve companies with doing business with Dallas ISD. Equally important, we would like to encourage each and every one of you to support our food drive. It is our way to give back to needy and deserving Dallas ISD students and their families. If interested, you may contact the MWBE department, Ms. Valina Willis-Smith at VEWillis@dallasisd.org. Also, I would be remiss if I did not personally take this opportunity to thank our Dr. Michael Hinojosa, Dallas ISD Board of Trustees, executive leadership, Mr. Leslie Williams, and the DFW MSDC. Please allow me a point of privilege to personally call out the names of each and every school district and county that represented here today. Without their support and help, this would not have been a success. So again, join me in recognizing Dallas ISD, the premier urban school district, Houston ISD, Irving ISD, Garland ISD, Fort Bend ISD, Fort Worth ISD, Arlington ISD, Austin ISD, Lancaster ISD, San Antonio ISD, as well as Dallas and Tarrant County. We thank you, thank you, thank you for your invaluable support. Also, I would like to acknowledge a very small yet effective planning committee who laid the foundation for today's virtual ISD Day. Please allow me to give a round of applause to Mr. Andrew Nash, Ms. Stephanie Broughton, and Ms. Valina Willis-Smith. Last but certainly not least, I would like to applaud the efforts of each and every attendee that joined us here today, as well as to our honorable veterans. We salute you and thank you for your service. It is a pleasure to speak with you today. Have a safe, wonderful, and productive day. Again, on behalf of Dallas ISD, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I would like to turn it over to a phenomenal moderator, Ms. Stephanie Broughton. Thank you, Stephanie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Annie, for those wonderful words. And like I said, it's just been an amazing day. And we still have over 300 people hanging out with us today. And so we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. The time is 3:50 and we have the event is scheduled to end at 4 o'clock. So we can answer some more questions if you guys like, because I know it's been a long day and we definitely want to respect your time. We do have 10 minutes left. We can give you your 10 minutes back, or we can go ahead and answer some more questions. So kind of chime in a chat and let me know what you think. But we've had such an amazing event today. We've heard from some amazing presenters providing some amazing information on how to do business with their respective entity. We have the DFW MSDC, which is one of the major certifying agencies here in the region. So definitely, Andrew put the website in the chat. So please check out the website, get additional information on how to get certified. And so let me check and see what you guys think. Excuse me. Yes, we will be providing copies of the presentation. This is being streamed live on Facebook. It will also be placed on our YouTube channel. So please check us out on YouTube. We're also on social media. So if you're not already following us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, please check us out on all of those entities. And guess what? Just in case you guys didn't know, we actually have a mobile app, right? You guys probably didn't know that. So check us out. Download our mobile app by searching DISD MWBE in your app store. And you can get a lot of the information presented by Dallas ISD in our app. We're one of the only diversity entities in this region with a mobile app. So definitely make sure you go ahead and get registered in our mobile app. So I think that what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to list out the remaining questions that we have in the Q&A session. And then I'm going to filter those out to our presenters for them to answer if you've included your contact information in there. And we're going to go ahead and get your questions answered. Again, if you guys missed anything, don't hesitate. We're on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook, so you can catch the recording on Facebook. And you can also look on our YouTube channel to see that recording. I think that's it. So let me check and see if Mr. Williams has anything he would like to say before we close out. Mr. Williams, are you still with us? Do you have any closing remarks?
No. Basically, job well done. And I want to thank everyone for participating and all of our presenters. So that's excellent. Job well done.
Okay, thank you so much. And so I just want to thank everybody for participating and joining us today. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Continue to stay safe, and please don't hesitate to look on our MWBE website for all of our upcoming events. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.